Hi, this is Anil from Learning Glad and welcome back to another tutorial on C programming language. And in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how you can write a C program to toggle the cases of all the alphabetical characters present in a string. So here we're going to write a C program which is going to take a string value as an input, and then what it's going to do is our program is going to take all the characters of the string entered by the user, and then if that character is an alphabetical character and if that character is in uppercase, then our program is going to convert that character to lowercase, and if that character is in lowercase, then our program is going to convert that to the uppercase. So for example, let's say here we're gonna provide the input as this string learning lad. Here you guys can see we have the L in capital, E and A in small letters, and then R and I in capitals, and similarly you can see all the characters here. So once we're going to provide this string as the input to our program is going to produce the output something like this. So here you guys can see whatever the characters which were in the uppercase in the input string, they are converted to the lowercase, and those characters which were in the lowercase have been converted to the uppercase. And also, all of you know that in a string value we can have the alphabets, the numbers, and some special characters. So if you're gonna input ABC12# like this, then the output of our program is gonna look something like this. So here you guys can see only the alphabetical characters are checked, and their cases has been toggled. So here, before writing this program, I just want to show you guys which logic we're going to use for this program. Alright, whenever you're going to use characters in a C program, what actually happens is instead of that character, the ASCII value of that character is used. For example, if you're going to use the character A in your program, then instead of this character A, the ASCII value of this character A, which is 65, is used. So whenever you're going to use the characters or strings, which are the combination of many characters, the ASCII value is used. This is the most important thing which you need to know here. So now to talk about the ASCII values, the ASCII value for the capital A is 65, and the ASCII value for capital B is 66, and similarly for C it's 67, and for D is 68, and similarly this goes on in the continuous order. And for the capital Y, the ASCII value is 89, and for capital Z it is 90. And if you're going to talk about the lowercase character, then the ASCII value for this small a is 97, small b is 98, and then it's going to continue in the continuous order, and the last value, which is the lowercase z, has the ASCII value 122. Now here the ASCII value between 91 to 96 are used for some other special characters. Now, as I told you before, in our program, we're going to be using the ASCII values to store the character values. So here what happens is, if you have the capital A in our program, and if you want to convert it to the lowercase a, then what we can do is, we can add 32 to this ASCII value of this character A. So if we're going to add 32 here, we're going to get 97, which is the ASCII value for this lowercase a. And similarly for this capital B, if you're going to add 32 to this 66, we're going to get 98, which is again the ASCII value of this lowercase b. So the thing is, since these are in the continuous order and the difference is 32, which is constant for all these uppercase and lowercase, what we can do is, if we have the uppercase character, then we can add 32 and we can get the respected lowercase character. And similarly, if we have the lowercase character, for example, let's say this lowercase d, and if we subtract 32 from this ASCII value of this lowercase d, then we're gonna get the ASCII value for this uppercase d. So we can use this logic and we can construct the program which is gonna toggle the cases of all the alphabetical characters present in a string. So I just want to say once again, guys, if you want to convert the case from uppercase to lowercase, then you need to add 32 to the ASCII values of the uppercase character. If you want to convert the character from lowercase to uppercase, then you need to subtract 32 from the ASCII value of the lowercase character. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this logic in our program, and we're gonna try to construct a program which is gonna toggle the cases of the string entered by the user. So we're gonna start writing the program, and the first thing that we need to do is we need to include some header files. So the first header file that I'm gonna include is the stdio.h. I'm including this header file because I want to perform some basic input-output operations, and this is the only header file which we're gonna need for this program. And after this, what I want to do is I want to define a macro. So I'm going to use the hash define preprocessor directive, and I'm going to call my macro as size, and I'm going to specify the value or macro definition as 30. So this preprocessor macro which we're gonna be using in our program, and this macro will be substituted by the preprocessor just before the compilation process when we try to build and run this program. Alright, now after these two things, what we're gonna do is we're gonna write our main function. So it's gonna be int, and then we're gonna have the main, and then we're gonna have a pair of curly braces, and here we're gonna write the last statement, which is gonna be return 0, and this 0 will indicate that our program has successfully finished execution without any errors. So this is gonna be the last statement of our program, and which will be inside this main function. So here, first what we're gonna do is we're gonna declare the variables which we're gonna use in this program. So here the first variable required is we want to store the string value entered by the user. So all of you know that to store the string value we need a character array. So we're gonna declare a character array here. So it's gonna be char, and I'm gonna call my array as text, and here we need to specify how many characters we want to store in this text array, and I'm gonna use the macro which we defined before, which is size. So in our program, if we need to change the value, then we just need to change it here in this one place. So we're going to use this macro size in our program whenever we need to refer to this size of this array text. So here this size is a macro and the definition is 30. So what happens is whenever we're going to try to compile this program, before the compilation process there will be a step called pre-processing. During the pre-processing, the preprocessor is gonna look for this size throughout this program, and it's gonna replace that with this value of 30. So this will be exactly equal to char text, and then in square bracket we are specifying 30. So here when we have this text character array with the size 30, we can store 29 characters entered by the user. That's because here we have 30 locations available, or 30 spaces available, and we can store 29 characters entered by the user, and that one more space which will be remaining, and there we need to store the string termination character, because in C programming all strings should be terminated by a string termination character. Alright, now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna declare another variable which we're gonna use in this program, and I'm gonna call it as index, and we're gonna be using this variable with the loops that we're gonna need later. So after declaring the variables required, what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask the user to enter the string value. So here I'm gonna use the printf function, and I'm gonna say enter the string value, and then we're gonna have a new line here, and this is gonna display to the user that enter the string value. Now the user is gonna enter the string which he wants, and what we need to do is we need to read that string value and we need to store that in this text array. So for that purpose, we're going to use a function called fgetS. This fgetS function is used to read a string value from a file, or we can use this with the input streams also. So we're going to use this function, and as the first parameter to this function, we need to specify where we want to store the red string value. So here we want to store that value in this text array. So we're gonna specify the name of the array, which is gonna be text. And then we need to specify maximum number of characters that we want to read. So here, by using this parameter, we can make sure that the text array which we have here, it is not overflowed. So here, we have this text array which can contain 30 characters, including the string termination characters, and we can't store 35 or 40 characters here in this text array. If we do that, then it's gonna overflow our text array, and our program may crash, or it's gonna produce some undefined behaviors. So to avoid that, we can use this getS function, and we can specify the maximum number of characters that this function can read. So here I'm going to use this macro size again. So here this second parameter includes the string termination character. As I told you before, we can only store the 29 characters in this text array, when we have this size as 30. But here, for this function parameter, while specifying the maximum number of characters to read, we need to specify that including that string termination character. So here, we're gonna specify this size, and then we need to specify from where we want to read the value. We can specify a file here, a pointer to a file, or you can specify any other input streams. So here, for this purpose, we want to read it from the keyboard. So I'm gonna specify std in standard input here. So now this fgetS function is gonna read the string value entered by the user, and it's gonna store that in this text array. Another thing is, what if the user is gonna enter a string value which is gonna contain let's say 40 characters. Now at that time, what happens is, only 29 characters will be stored, and the other characters which are entered by the user will be ignored. All right. Now the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna display the values which was entered by the user. So I'm gonna use the printf function again, and here I'm gonna say entered string value is %s, and let's add a new line, and that value will be present in this text array. So we're gonna refer that text here. All right, now we have declared the variables that we're gonna need, and also we have read the input from the user, and also we have displayed it back to the user. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to access all the characters present in this string entered by the user, and we need to check whether it is an alphabetical character. If it is an alphabetical character, then we need to toggle its case, which is if the character is in uppercase, then we need to convert that to the lowercase, and if that character is in lowercase, then we need to convert that to the uppercase. So how are we gonna do that? Now, as I told you before, we need to access all the characters of the string value entered by the user. So we know that we have stored that value in this text array. So this text is a character array. So that's why what we can do is we can access the individual elements of this text array, and for that purpose, let's use a for loop. And we're going to use the index variable here. I'm going to initialize this index variable with a value of 0. That's because with the arrays, the index is going to start from 0, which is nothing but the first element, or the first character entered by the user will be stored at the index 0. The second character will be stored at the index 1. And the third character will be stored at the index 2. And similarly, it's going to go like that. All right. Now the next thing is how long we want to execute this for loop. Here we want to execute this for loop until we reach the string termination character. In other words, we want to execute this for loop until we process all the characters of the string. So here we can form the condition using many techniques. One is you can use the string length function, and by using that function, you can get the number of characters, or the length of the string entered by the user, and then you can form the condition like index less than string length of text. You can form the condition like this, and it is perfectly valid. You can use this function here. And if you want to use this string length function, then you need to include the string.h header file to your program. But here what I want to do is I want to avoid using the built-in functions as much as possible. So we're going to form a condition without using the string length function. Now, as I told you before, in C programming, a string value should be terminated with a string termination character. Now, we want to execute this for loop until we reach the string termination character. So what we can do is we can check whether we have already reached the string termination character, and we can do that by using the text array and the index variable, and this will provide character at the particular index in this text array. For the first iteration it will point to the first element, and for the second iteration it will point to the second element, or it's gonna provide the second character. So here we're gonna check whether that character is the string termination character. As I told you before, this will provide each character at a time. For example, when this index will be 0, this statement, this whichever I have highlighted here, will provide the first character, and we're gonna check whether that is equal to the string termination character. If it is equal to the string termination character, then it's gonna mean that okay, we have already processed all the characters of the string entered by the user, so we don't need to continue further, so we can stop. If that is not the string termination character, then we need to continue with this loop, and that's why we can have the condition like this here. Alright, we want to execute this for loop until we reach the string termination character. If we have reached the string termination character, then it's gonna mean that we have processed all the characters of the string entered by the user. Else, whatever the characters pointed by this index variable is not the string termination character, then it's gonna mean that there are some other characters present in this string, so we need to continue with this for loop. Okay, after this condition, we're gonna increment the value of this index variable so that for every iteration we can point to the next character. All right, now we're gonna have the for loop block here by using this pair of curly braces. Now here inside this for loop, what we need to do is we need to check whether the character pointed by this index variable in this text array is an alphabetical character. If it is so, then we need to toggle its case. So to access a particular character, we're gonna use text and we're gonna use index. So for the first iteration, it will provide the first character. For the second iteration, it will provide the second character, and similarly for all the iteration until we reach the end of the string. All right, now we need to check whether the character pointed by this index variable's value is in uppercase. So we can check that by using a if statement here. So our if condition will be if the character pointed by this index variable in this text array, whether that has the ASCII value which is greater than or equal to the ASCII value of this character A, and we're gonna write it again, text index, whether this ASCII value is less than or equal to the ASCII value of this capital Z. So here with this condition, what we are checking is whether the character pointed by this index variable in this text array, whether it is having a ASCII value which is greater than or equal to the ASCII value of this character A, and it is less than or equal to the ASCII value of the character capital Z. So if this condition is gonna satisfy, then it's gonna mean that the character pointed by this index variable in this text array is a uppercase alphabet. So what we need to do, we need to convert its case. We need to make it lowercase. So we can do that by adding 32 to its ASCII value. So we're gonna access the character here, and then we can add 32 to its ASCII value. All right. Then after converting it to the lowercase, what we want to do is we want to store that in this text array at the same position. So we can write like this. So what we are doing is, first we are accessing that character, and then we are adding 32 to the ASCII value of that character so that it will be converted to the lowercase, and then we are storing that in this text array at the same position. So if a character was A in uppercase, then at that same position we are storing lowercase a. Now this is for the uppercase. Now we need to check for the lowercase characters. So we can have a else if condition here, and here for this else if we're gonna write the condition as, so again we're gonna check for the character pointed by this index variable in this text array, whether it has a ASCII value which is greater than or equal to the ASCII value of the lowercase a, and again text index, that character has the ASCII value which is less than or equal to the ASCII value of the lowercase z. So here in this first statement, in this if statement, we are checking for the uppercase character, whether the ASCII value of this character lies between the ASCII value of uppercase a and uppercase z. It can be any alphabetical character in uppercase. It will fall in this range, and this condition will satisfy, and it will be converted to the lowercase. Now we are checking whether the character pointed by this index variable in this text array is containing a ASCII value which is greater than or equal to the ASCII value of this lowercase a and less than or equal to the ASCII value of this lowercase z. So let's say the character which this index variable points is small s. So at that time the ASCII value of this small s will be greater than the ASCII value of this small a, and it will be less than the ASCII value of this small z. So this condition, this else if, will satisfy if we encounter a lowercase alphabet. So now what we need to do is we need to convert it to the uppercase. So we can convert the character to the uppercase by subtracting 32 from the ASCII value of that character. So this will subtract 32 from the ASCII value of that character. Now we need to store that in this text array at the same position. So text index equal to text index minus 32. All right. Now here, with this for loop, we are checking for the alphabetical characters in that string, and then we are toggling its case. If that character is in uppercase, then we are converting it to lowercase, and if that character is in lowercase, then we are converting it to the uppercase. Now let's say some other character is gonna come in. For example, the character 9 will come in. Now this 9 is a number, but it can be part of the string value. So 9 comes in, and this condition will not satisfy because 9's ASCII value will not fall in this range. So this condition will not satisfy, and also this condition will not also satisfy. So for the non-alphabetical characters, both of these conditions will not satisfy, and we will not be executing any statements for them. So we're gonna keep them as they are. So these non-alphabetical characters will not be altered. Now the last thing we need to do here in this tutorial is we just need to print out the toggled string. So we're gonna use the printf function here, and here I'm gonna say string after toggling is %yes, and here we're gonna refer the text array. All right, now I'm gonna save this program, and then I'm gonna build and run this. So I'm gonna press the F9 key. All right, enter the string value. I'm gonna enter small a, capital N, small I, capital L, and then I'm gonna add a space, and then I'm gonna write yes, capital H, small e, small t, and capital Y, Anil Shetty, and then I'm gonna hit the enter button. And now you guys can see entered string value is Anil Shetty. It is displaying just like the way I have entered here. And then string after toggling is Anil Shetty. Now you guys can see after toggling, whatever the characters which we had in the lowercase is been converted to uppercase, and whatever the characters we had in the uppercase is converted to lowercase. So I'm gonna close this, and I'm gonna run it again. And this time I'm gonna enter capital A, small b, capital C, then space 657 or 567, any number, then star hash, and then I'm gonna hit the enter button. And now you guys can see only these alphabetical characters cases have been toggled, and all other non-alphabetical characters are gonna remain as they are. So this is it, guys. This is how you guys can write this program. And if you guys think that you have learned something from this tutorial, then please subscribe to our channel, share our content with your friends, and help us to reach more people. You can contact us on Facebook at facebook.com/learninglad, and also you can tweet us on Twitter at learninglad.edu, and you can check out our website learninglad.com for more tutorials. And once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.